Welcome to an episode of Community Off the Cuff. I'm Nick Rankin. It's a Ryan and I episode today, and now we have sponsorships, and we'll talk about that after this.
This podcast is brought to you by Connecticut RE/MAX Home Team. If you're considering selling your home, RE/MAX Home Team can help. With over 58 licensed agents and covering all of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, RE/MAX Home Team's strategic market presence attracts thousands of home buyers. Plus, their home selling techniques gets your home sold fast. Remember, real estate is the key to building long-term wealth. So call RE/MAX Home Team at 860-444-7362. That's 860-444-7362. Or visit them online at www.nxtlevelgrp.com. Remember, selling your home doesn't have to be stressful. That's RE/MAX Home Team for all your real estate needs.
We have sponsors.
We do.
We have ads. This is big time.
Yeah, it is.
We wanted to do sponsors because Forward Content has been just doing all of our production for free for a year now.
Yeah.
And they've spent quite a bit of money on us, and we want to kind of put back into the show. So obviously neither you or I are going to be taking any money off of that for ourselves, but we've almost got a set built over there, which means no more green screen, which means no more beautiful picture of Norwich, but
We could still have the picture though on the background on the set.
yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm stoked about it because we're also going to get to stop sitting like this, and I get to just sit across from somebody, and the cameras will accommodate that. And I think it's better that way.
Yeah, I think and for local business, our podcast is getting a really good, solid local following. You know, we've already reached up to 40,000 people. The majority of it is local. Our Apple podcasts are reaching 250 to 300 downloads. It's for advertisement. It's good.
And legitimate question, because I don't know, does that account for people that stream or just people that download?
It's people that stream just our show. So
Okay.
that's just one. So our show, and the reason why I know this is because I do the majority of the production for it. The Facebook shows the reach, what cities are tuning in to listen to us talk and listen to the guests that we have on. And then we have Spotify and Apple Podcasts, which is something that you would tune into like on your way to work in the morning. You listen to our show that comes on once a week, and you can just plug it in or set it up to Bluetooth in your car and listen to the show there. And then we also have YouTube, which is something that we're working on. And YouTube is, we're going to kind of develop a new plan to really kind of get on that platform a little bit better. Plus we also have Instagram and stuff like that. So every social media, our show is on several social media platforms, and all of the advertisement that we have will be associated with the show on all platforms. And here at Forward Content, they have 10 other shows and a few other shows that are in production. So they're really doing a lot here in Norwich, Connecticut. So for advertisement purposes, if you have a local business out there and you want to advertise with Forward Content, it's going really well.
It is actually really cool to see it all develop. Just in general, like we don't have industry like this here, and to bring somebody seasoned like that into the area and see what they decide to build I think it's really exciting, and I think it's probably more accessible for your everyday person than they probably realize. Like if you're into doing maybe this kind of thing, Forward's a place that hey, pitch it. Why not? They might be interested in your show. They might be interested in whatever it is you want to talk about. And it's cool. So I took over a new position at the PD. I'm in charge of training and selections.
Yeah, I'm going to miss you.
I'm still around-ish because I'll run both for the time being, but I'm going to miss you too. And I won't stop doing this because I like this. The chief already said, hey, keep doing, being involved in that. Like, we like it. But one of the recruits that came through a process that we interviewed the other day is like, oh, hey, I watch Community Off the Cuff, which I thought was like totally cool. I was like, hey, flattery will get you everywhere. It won't change your score, but I was like, oh, that's awesome. So it's cool to see it start to have a little bit of pull and reach here and there.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you felt when you first got hired, but I mean, when I first started processes, way back when, 18, 19 years ago, you don't really know what to expect. And for you to bring in talk to Scott DuPoint, who's still doing investigation
running
and backgrounds.
Scott DuPoint, who is alive, by the way.
Yeah.
I think people probably saw it on the news. A gunman tried his best to take him out. He shot a bunch of rounds into Scott's cruiser, and thank God he got out and got away. And he's doing very well. He's on the mend, and we're very relieved about that.
Yeah, it's that was a really terrible night.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were talking about before, you guys are just personable. People listen to that, because I've had people come to me and say, "Hey, that episode that you did with hiring, it kind of helped, and it guided me in the right direction, and I listened to it, and I went to the LEC website, and
Sure.
and that's one thing in for policing. We need cops. We need police officers.
Contact us.
Bad." Really bad. We need good people that want to be police officers, and this is just another form of that outreach, and another form of people kind of listening to us talk, and listening to you talk to guests every week, and then they come in, they see that familiar face, and they already kind of have that a little bit better background and a little bit better direction as to what to go in. So that's another reason why this right here is well. I'm doing good.
I feel like we kind of started to pivot toward that direction here. I feel like we started off doing hey, we want to have a reasonable discussion surrounding social issues, which I'm still interested in,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
like. But I also feel like we've dialed kind of into the local human interest a little bit more, where it's, hey, know the people that are around you and what decisions they're making and how they come to them. And now, we had Darrell on. Darrell's now a familiar face to people that didn't know him before, and they'll have some reference for who he is when he sits down at council. Same with Mayor. Same with Sheila when she gets up to speak about something like, hey, these are sing, right? All of them. Now it's like, oh, well, you have some idea what this person's actually about, as opposed to what their political leaning is, or what they you know what I mean?
And you have somebody like Darrell. I'll take Darrell for instance, because he went on a ride along with me.
Yeah.
And he's an alderman in city council. His political affiliation's Democrat. He's a younger guy, and he's so pro Norwich. He goes to everything. We see that as police officers. Whether we're working a detail or working a parade or working a special event, we see the people who show up to all the events.
All of them.
And we see the kids and the interactions, and and to see somebody like him who grew up in Greenville and is on city council and cares so much for the city, it's just great to see that. And me personally, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. You're a good person, you're trying to go in the right direction, and you're trying to build things for the right reasons and the right cause. That's all me personally, that's all I care about. And I see a lot of that in Norwich, which is, thank God, which is awesome. So.
Yeah, there is plenty of it, and actually I saw a good example. Winterfest turned out awesome this year.
Yeah, it was great.
The crowd was substantial.
Thousands of people.
Yeah. And everybody had a blast. There were no issues. Last year, no issues with the parade, or not last year. Last time we did it, 2019, because we didn't do it, COVID year.
Yeah.
I was running that one as well, and it was like chaos. Not at the parade, but surrounding the parade. It was just all these different weird occurrences, calls, stuff like that. And there was none of that this year, and it was just so refreshing to see people out and about, out of their houses and doing stuff again. But it made me think of the mayor, what you just said, because the parade finishes up. We're kind of starting to get in our cars, and out comes the mayor picking up litter.
Yeah.
I mean, the crowd wasn't gone for 4 minutes. The mayor's out there. He's brought himself a trash can. He's cleaning up the city. It's the same thing. You like to see people that legitimately care. And no one was watching. The crowd's gone. No one's watching. Mayor's out there. He's picking up the litter.
And to take the Norwich Events organization, they work so hard, and I've worked with them for, prior to me even being in community policing. I've been working with the Norwich Events organization since 2012. And you have Miria, you have Rebecca, you have that whole group there. They work so hard to just bring that life back to downtown. And Ken Keeley, who puts a lot of the historic books out for Norwich, he's on a lot of community forums, and I follow him, and he's downtown's back.
Yeah.
And it was a picture of Broadway leading to Billy Wilson's and City Hall. and it's just lined with people and kids and smiling faces, and
Right.
it's like those old pictures from like the 50s and 60s when you see like those parades downtown where there's like thousands of people and everybody's enjoying themselves. And I know when I first started in 08, 08, 09, we started around the same time.
Yeah.
Downtown wasn't really vibrant. It was kind of, there was a lot of
No,
empty space, and to see that, people enjoying themselves and having fun and all the different civic groups, and it's just awesome. It's a great thing. So to the Norwich Events Organization, they're doing a great job. The Norwich Police Department, we're always there to help them out. And I think we have St. Pat's. We're in the process of planning the St. Patrick's Parade that comes in March. So hats off to the Norwich Events Organization, and we're going to be having a couple of them come on the show soon.
We've got a number of things like that planned through them, through RCU, through Tommy Toy Fund. So we'll be having Tommy Toy Fund this year. Distribution is going to be the 14th and 15th, but we're doing Stuff a Cruiser before that. So if people are watching that this week, we're going to be out there Saturday the 4th, Sunday the 5th, and then again Sunday the 12th at Norwich Walmart, collecting toys for kids. Tommy Toy's been going on for since I was a kid, at least.
Yeah.
Right. And typically the Norwich Bulletin heads that up. We always do the Stuff a Cruiser, so we'll be out there again. And then Reliance Health actually agreed to host it this year because we found ourselves without I'm on the board. We found ourselves without a location for it. And their new building over on Two Cliff Street, they're going to be hosting the distribution. So if people are on hard times this year and you need presents for the kids, register through them, through United Way. There'll be ads running the bulletin and things like that. But whoever it is, and we'll talk more about it when we have on Jim Conrad from the Bulletin originally. He used to edit the Bulletin. He's got another job up in Manchester, but he still does the charity work here. And then Heather Renee from over at Reliance Health, who got us the spot. They'll be both coming on to talk about it, hopefully next week.
Yeah. When I worked Tommy Toy Fund last year, and I think I worked it one other year, it's always the people that come and bring the toys are like, you know what, this helped me out 10 years ago. You get so much of that. People families fall into hard times, and they have that opportunity to put a smile on their kids' faces during Christmas, and to see people give back, once they either got out of that rut or whatever they were in, to come in and to really donate some toys. There's also something special that's going to happen this year with some distribution for toys. So
nice.
It's going to be interesting. It might involve a box truck full of toys.
That'd be fantastic.
So that's something that's in the works right now.
Cool. Well, don't ruin it in case.
I'm not going to ruin it.
Don't want it to fall flat on its face either,
No.
I feel like that's...
It won't. It'll be good.
Good. Who else we got coming on? Because you've been hot on the scheduling for some guests now that we're coming into season 3. We got our new set built and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we got the new set built. Forward content, really, they see what we're kind of creating, how good, how well you're doing. The back end of the show, we have a lot of people working on Community Off the Cuff. We have so much great feedback, and we have Ken Keeley, who we're going to have on. He his books on Norwich are
those the ones that you see in like
they're everywhere,
BAM or wherever, like with the tan, like the
they're pictures from like the
sepia tone
1800s. Yeah, with like the banks, like Bank Row, that's over by Shannon Corner.
History of Norwich Fire. Does he branch out? Because I've seen ones for Willimantic and for other towns too. Is that all him, or am I thinking in the wrong series?
Don't quote me, but I know he does Norwich. I'm not sure about Willimantic and other surrounding towns.
Yeah.
But I know his father was a detective in the Norwich Police Department.
Oh.
Yes. So his ties to the Norwich Police Department are pretty well rooted. So
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, so he has some pretty good stories, and he'll bring in a bunch of his books, and we can with the new studio set, we can actually put up a lot of the pictures of some of the stuff that he's going to be talking about.
Oh, cool.
But who else do we have lined up? We have Rebecca Alberts, who owns These Guys Brewing Company.
Yep. She's
going to be coming in with Miria to talk about the Norwich Events Organization.
Nice.
Again, the Norwich Events Organization is a 501c3 nonprofit. So all of these events that you see, the St. Patrick's Parade, the Winterfest Parade, all these downtown events that are bringing back the heart of the city, the fireworks that was awesome this year. All of these events are all through local donations. So there's no city budget. It's not a budget line item. It's nothing like that
Right.
for the city. It's people giving back to see these events take place. So they're gonna talk about that and get into the fundraising on that aspect. Plus, we also Frank Colomaris is gonna come on.
That's going to be fun.
Yes.
I like Frank.
So Frank Colomaris, he owns a studio. He does a lot of videography work. They worked with Sound Community for a documentary regarding police and the police and policing the community in New London, Norwich, Groton. They interviewed police officers and community members from all of New London County. He came on a ride along with me. He did, shot a few things. I believe he talked to you.
Yep.
He talked to you. He talked to the chief. So he's going to come on, talk about that documentary that's going to be aired relatively soon.
He asked some really good and fair questions during that because I didn't know him prior to that.
Yeah.
And having it coming from another town and saying, hey, we want to come and we want to do a documentary kind of during the height of that climate, I was a little nerved up about it. But his questions were really thoughtful. We had a great conversation, and I'm really interested to pick his brain more actually about like the technical aspects of, maybe not too technical on the show, but about production and about creating stuff, because like we're still figuring this out. Like we've figured out a little bit of how to speak on a microphone or what camera does what, but like he's got some extra level knowledge on that stuff. So I'll be excited to talk to him. And he's just kind of like charming.
And
charming fella.
The good thing about the great thing about Frank actually is he comes to the Forward Content Studio here all the time.
Yeah.
He works with everybody here. He owns his own studio himself, but just to see that connection of all these small businesses that are developing in New London County. And I mean, right now, the executive producer for the Real Housewives of New York City is in the room next door right now, talking about other production stuff that's happening. And a lot of those conversations are happening right here in Norwich, which is awesome. It's exciting. It's awesome. So
I like to see that it's not terribly competitive too, even though Frank's got his own place and he's doing his own thing. People work together in it, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that even though they're technically like in competition, they share resources, they share ideas, and
I think it's a team project. It's just like anything else. Like somebody can have an idea, but it takes a team to get that idea. Like you have to put all the right pieces together in order to make it work. Is what I'm really getting at. So to see Frank and everybody at Forward Content working together is awesome. So we got, who else do we have? Anthony
Revore is coming on, and he's really interesting for people that don't know. He runs the Remax Home Team brokerage in the area, and I'm excited to kind of interview him because humble beginnings, self-made, right?
Yes.
And I think he's going to be really relatable and have some good information for people that don't, especially younger people that don't know quite what they want to get into work-wise or where they want to go with some things, because he was a service industry guy. Yeah. And then he got into real estate, and he's now
he grinded.
He did. And he's just got that mindset, and I think he's a good person to have on, especially when we come from kind of the other Connecticut over here in Norwich. Mm-hmm. We're not from Greenwich. Yeah. We're not from Fairfield, and like I think the grind is something that we're good at here and something that he'll help people be better at if they happen to tune in.
And he believes in what we're doing, which is awesome. So Remax Home Team, Uncasville, Connecticut, Waterford. I believe those are their two locations.
Yeah, he's into it.
And Anthony's a great guy. He believes in what we're doing, and we're gonna have him on. So what else is going
on? Well, I mean, we have to talk elephant in the room briefly. Yeah. We lost Joe Pep. Yeah. This past month in November to COVID, and that hit hard. I know it hit harder for some. We all loved him, and I don't want to drone on too much about him because, I like Joe a lot and we got along well at work. There's other people that are closer or were closer to him, and I think that time belongs to them,
Yeah, he was one of my mentors. I know there's so many guys and girls that came on, well before me that were so close with Joe, and we've all been in contact with his wife Katie and his family, and it's just terrible. There's a lot of things lot of bad stuff that's kind of happening here at the Norwich Police Department, but we're trying to work through it. And Joe was, to me, I mean, he was one of my mentors. He just treated everybody extremely fair. He was the kind of guy you could go and talk to him about anything, whether it's marriage-related stuff, family-related stuff.
Right.
You're having a rough week, rough month, rough year. He was always the guy to really try to help you get out of that hole. And he really just cared about people. So I know you wanted to keep it short, but it's something that we have to talk about. The city of Norwich lost an amazing human being in Joe Pep. So it's hard for me, but I hope again, we're going to make sure that the family's taken care of. We talked to everybody on city council, is very supportive. Everybody obviously in the police department and even the fire department, a lot of guys in the fire department reached out to me. Some people in American Ambulance reached out, to me, kind of make sure that we needed anything. So, Joe Pep was just an amazing human, great person, awesome boss, phenomenal leader. And, it's tough.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be, I hope we handle it well. I worry anytime that there's a major event like that, a major negative event like that, I hope we pull tighter and closer to one another and don't let the stress turn into, arguments and fighting, emotions run high no matter what.
Exactly.
And
everybody vents different.
Yeah. So hopefully we get through that. Okay. We do have some other cool stuff coming up, RCU wise. So
yeah.
Bob McKinney, who's part of our unit's been hitting the bricks.
Bob's doing a great job.
Yeah, he is. Along with Erica's kind of taken part of the lead on it. We're partnering with NPU to do like a Christmas light competition. Yeah. And it's going to be cash prizes. Like it's going to be, I think it'll just be direct cash. We could do something in the form of like, hey, knock down your NPU bill by this much. But either way, NPU's, the electric company, could pay you, right? Be a first. But for Christmas light competition. So if people want to get in touch with Bob or enter that, then by all means, B. McKinney.
I saw that on the
McKinney.
It's on the Norwich Police Department Facebook page, I believe I saw.
Oh,
that.
He put it up?
Yes.
I've been steering clear of social media as much as I can.
I know, man.
I steer clear.
Me too, but it's kind of hard when you're like, when I'm
supposed to be on it,
running this stuff.
Yeah, no.
But it was on there. So if you go to the Norwich Police Department Facebook page, you'll see some information regarding NPU. Rose City United, NPU collaborating together to bring this competition. I tell you, Scott, I've seen some really awesome houses, some really cool lighting. A lot of it, a few of it's in Norrichtown. I've seen some on the west side, a couple in Greenville, but hopefully, people get on board. And
I know last year Preston did something similar, and they put it all on a map.
Yeah.
Like they put it all on a map, listed all the addresses, stuff like that. I don't know if it went out with people.
There's that one house in Preston that has the lights connected to the music.
On Krug Road, yeah.
Yes, Krug Road.
Yeah, they always...
I bring my kids there every year.
Yeah, me too. And then up by like Maine's Way and some of the developments too, all kind of get together and do it themed. I'm stoked about that. I like driving, seeing Christmas lights, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we'll see something like that. Like people can put together a map or get on the map if they're interested in putting something together themselves.
Nice.
It'll be nice to see. Erica's done a lot of work on that from Rose City United. Yeah. Erica Simmons, Brandon, and Bob's also helping put together, actually with the help of a number of people in and out of town, like a young men's conference, just kind of a leader.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
nice.
going to be a leadership mentorship type thing.
Cool.
Like for, it doesn't have to be for anybody that's misguided. It's just people that feel like they might benefit from that and, could use a different influence in their life. Hopefully they can find somebody there or at least go and get some good information as to how these successful people made some decisions to get them to where they are. And that
Absolutely.
I'm excited for that to materialize. We're looking at early next year for that.
Yeah, I tell you, we've been doing the community policing thing for what, a year now? I mean, obviously you a little longer than me, but it's cool to see our group come together and kind of create all these things and see them offshoot and then blossom into what they're doing, and then you take certain things and you create more stuff. It's just I don't know, it's a great policing wise, it's a great environment to be in. So hopefully at some point, if we can hire more people, because we need more cops.
It's easy to dive into too. Once you get a taste of like the the good half of policing, the positive half of policing. Like it's exciting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm after we're done here, I coach NFA now. I coach NFA.
I was just going to get into that. How's the coaching? What are you coaching?
Wrestling.
Nice.
Yeah, so I wrestled there. I graduated in 05, and then I wrestled in college and kept with combat sports for the rest of my life. And
Wait, you're not just a cop 24/7?
Not 24/7.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be over doing that, and it's cool. Like, I never thought I'd want to work with high school kids. Yeah. Like, I don't think I even liked high school kids when I was in high school. But now I'm finding, like, I think high school kids are just interesting. It's like an interesting point in your life where you don't really know what you're going to be quite yet. I mean, you go through middle school, elementary, and all that, and everything's sort of generic. And then you start to develop this sense of identity in high school. And it's funny because, like, you watch them, and I haven't just been involved there through that, like through the law enforcement club, through other stuff. Yeah. You know, even with the drama club when we pulled them in, like, you see them try on different identities, like almost like they're playing a character and trying to figure out where they're comfortable, where they fit. Yeah. Like, it's cool to see that. Like, it's just, it's a neat, weird transitional time of life. And like, my niece and nephew are both teenagers. Like, my nephew just went off to college and my niece is still in high school, and like, I didn't find out until they hit that age that, like, oh, this is kind of like cool. Like, they understand things at kind of an adult level, but not the major implications yet. And I just think it's kind of cool, and I think it's pivotal. Like, I think
I remember you talking about when you were in Preston in elementary school, and you you had that teacher, principal, or coach kind of bring you in and be like, hey, you want to try wrestling?
Yeah, we're still friends.
And look at what that turned into.
Like, we're actually friends. He's the principal over there now, and we've stayed in contact ever since. Like, that was a major mentor in my life, like, big time. Yeah. And so I'm hoping I can give whatever it is that kids need in that regard. Yeah.
I mean, I know all the coaches that I had growing up. I remember a handful of them that were just, they're awesome. They just kind of guide you in the right direction. They push you. Right. You know, kids, me personally, I like to be pushed. Like, keep going, keep pushing. But there's always like a, corrective measure of that. You know, hey, if you do the right thing, you wake up early, you get this done, you get this workout done, the game's going to be easier. Yeah. And that's big to kind of instill that in youth. It's like, if you do your homework, you get your homework done, you get your workouts done, the game should be easy. You know, the game is
the fun part.
The game's the fun part, but it's, you gotta learn, get really good at trusting that process, trusting that process and getting it. So when it's game time, you're ready to go.
Yeah. It's funny I find myself repeating the things that my coaches said to me. Yeah. And it's the silly stuff that we say in every sport, right? It's like, hey, look, fundamentals are the fundamentals for a reason. Like, this is most important. And nobody wants to work on it because they think it's boring. Yeah. You're like, no, really. When you get deeper into this, you're going to realize it's the fundamentals that get the job done. And I think it's just, it's good for, well, kids, but anybody to experience and deal with that kind of pattern of understanding, like coming to realize that fundamentals are important, because it's no different than any other aspect of life. Yeah. Right. Like, hey, the fundamentals that we taught you in, up until regular elementary school, like, hey, here's how you're going to be a polite, good human being. And here's
the shortcuts don't work.
Right. Here's how you talk to people, and here's how, you conduct your, like, those are the things that ultimately matter. Right. Like, absolutely. The rest of it is window dressing. Like, you can have the fanciest degree in the world, or you could, play whatever top level trick shot you can do in hockey, or wild throw you can execute in wrestling. It's like, hey, all those things are lovely, but
it's not going to win the game.
Are you fundamentally sound? Yeah, like, exactly. And if you're not, then you're severely lacking. Yeah. So
I know we could talk about sports all day.
Yeah. We'll save that. We'll let Chris talk about sports on his show, but is there anything else you want to touch on? I know this is kind of a brief episode, but we have been in transition here. Obviously, we touched on a couple of things that happened at the department that, there's priorities. We can't always be in here. And
we had to take a step away, a couple weeks. And and then people reach out to me, hey, is there an episode coming up? And it's just like, we've got a lot of bad stuff happening right now. So
you needed a hard reset there.
Yeah, we needed a hard reset. But, here at Forward Content here in Norwich, we got a studio set up. There's a couple different studios being constructed here now. Bronx Baseball and Beer is doing a great job with their show. Kevin's doing a great job with his show. There's a lot of other shows that are in production that are all going in a great direction. And again, we're allowed to advertise now, which is good. We can
at least now we can pay
on.
for the space that we've been occupying and taking and the time we've been taking up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think
that's key. People don't really realize that. They listen to the radio shows and they they listen to whatever they listen to, whether it's a podcast or Joe Rogan or any of these, whatever you're into. Even on the radio, like 105.5, 107.7 or Hall Communications or any of those, and it's the advertisements.
Yeah,
it's the advertisements that kind of keep the lights on. It's the advertisements that keep the creative, mindset going, where we can kind of go out of the box a little bit and maybe do this or do that, or work on this project, work on that project. I know
even
for
the smallest things, man. Like, and this costs money. Like, I didn't really understand it when we first started, but like server space is expensive.
Yeah,
server space and just getting this up and out costs money. And then you've got, I don't know how many SD cards we've blown through doing the show, right? Like stuff like that. It just costs. The set costs, and it's like it's nice to have the sponsorships and. I hope people forgive us because I know nobody likes listening to advertisements, but at least it'll all be local, relevant to them advertisements.
Every advertisement for here is all going to be local because our local reach is really good. We've worked hard. We've worked hard to kind of build something that we believe in, that the police department believes in, and now the community's starting to believe in it. So we just want to create more. We want to do more, and we want to kind of continue to put Norwich on the map. It's just like I said this before, you said it. Everything's a maintenance process. You work hard, you get to that next step, then you get to the next step, and then whether you make some mistakes, it is what it is. Then you just kind of keep going, keep pushing.
That's what I think I like about this medium too, is you get to just make some mistakes and it's fine. It's not like we're not that our product isn't finished, like the podcast isn't finished by the time we put it out, but it's like, hey, but guess what? There's going to be another one. Like, hey, there's going to be another one, and if we didn't touch on everything we want to touch on with that person, well, they can.
And we've aired every single one of ours. There's a lot of there's a lot of podcasts out there that are like, I don't like how that sounds. Where we're just like, run it,
send it.
Yes, just send it.
I actually I enjoy. I'm starting to enjoy this. It doesn't stress me out anymore.
No,
and I've talked to Ford about it. I think I'm going to start my own thing.
You should.
Just to expand out. Like, I like talking about the local stuff and I'm really interested in it, but like there's a lot more stuff I'd like to be talking about. Like, I want to talk about whatever. I'm not going to get into it here, but I do think I'm gonna try to do that.
Nobody should ever really be held back. If you want to do something and it's constructive and it's positive and it can help out other people, like, go for it. I mean, that was always my I don't know, I got that grinded into my head at a young age to just create cool stuff and just kind of keep pushing forward. So
hopefully we get to do a lot more of it, because it's also a good place to spend time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just like being here in general. Like, it's a nice environment to work in. It's nice people to work with.
It's a great environment to work in.
Yeah.
I come in here and like, I don't really have stress. It's just like, okay, let's get this done. Let's get that ddone. Let's build this. We're going to talk to this person in the community. We're going to talk to this person in the community. We're going to try to create.
Creative. Like,
it's creative. Yeah. It's the arts. This is an art form.
It literally is the arts. And I've never had
we were always very athletic.
Yeah. And
sports. And now we're like in a totally different space where we could be creative, and it's the arts, and it's something that I think was definitely for me, it's like a void. Like, it's 100% for me. It's filling a void that I really needed. I mean, I've been a cop since I was 20 years old.
Right.
And it's like, I like it, love it. I do like the job, go out, but it wears on you, and it wears on you. So
it's nice to
having this here. It kind of definitely fills that void. So
likewise. You said it perfectly. I never had that creative type place. I shouldn't say place. Like, I didn't have a particularly creative talent. Like, I'm not some major artist. I can plunk on a guitar for.
You're a good actor.
I appreciate that. I did drum, but like, then when you're I guess I could be like Deanna. I could go audition for a local play, but like, it's a major time commitment. I don't know. I'm all set. I want something that's a little bit more enjoyable and less like work, and that's what this feels like when we come do it. So, you got anything else before we kind of wrap up? I know it's a miniature episode, but we'll have that new studio up and running hopefully next recording session.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Yeah, it should be done.
All right.
Next time we record, it'll look totally different.
I hope so. I hope it looks good.
I love Brown Park, but Brown Park won't be here. Maybe a picture in the new set.
Right.
So,
All right. That's been Community Off the Cuff. See you later.
see it.